show, everyone. This is Everything Under the Sun. My name is Ty, and I am happy to be here today. Happy y'all can be here today. Like, whatever day that is. It's kind of crazy with podcasts because I say, like, happy that you're here today, but, like, what is today? Like, it can be, like, 5 days from now. It can be, like, a year from now. But, I guess today is today. I guess you'll always be listening to it today. Like, you won't be listening to it tomorrow unless you do listen tomorrow, but you still be listening to it today. I don't know. I think I'm just kind of tripping myself out right now. But anyway, happy you all can be here. This is going to be a topic that I love talking about today because we're talking about music, and music consumes like 90% of my day, so I love it. So that's going to be what we're talking about today. It's been like a great week, kind of like planning this stuff out. There's been a lot of just like things that I've been thinking about mentally. Music always gets me to think about things. I'm always thinking about things, but um, I've definitely been in a lot of thought recently about a lot of things, and I love that like music is one of those things that like helps me guide through it. But some of those things, there's the weather's getting nicer, of course, outside, and people are wanting to go out more. I've been seeing people go out and just kind of do things. Like without face masks or social distancing, and it's kind of disconcerting because also the county official and health officials are saying that like for our county, which is Humboldt County, which is where I live, they're like opening it back up to the public as far as like businesses opening back up and operating normal business hours. So that's something that is apparently supposed to be going to effect. And I'm not going to speak neither here nor there as to like what may come of that because obviously there's much speculation and a lot of people that like if they engage in going out and doing normal things, and like that's what they do and they have their reasons for doing it, and the people that are allowing people to go out and do things, they have their reasons for doing it. So I'm not here to discuss any of that, but just a thing that I've been thinking about because it's coming up. So weather's getting nicer, of course, like people are gonna want to go out more, but we're not out of the woods with this COVID thing. But obviously, like be yeah. That's that thing. So a few other things. I was reading this article, and I was actually reading a few articles. It was this article first off about this bridge in China that was like moving like as traffic was going across it. I don't know how old this article was, but it was just kind of tricked me out because like they showed a video of this bridge, and the bridge is actually like moving up and down like while cars are on it, and it's pretty wild. They shut down the bridge and basically didn't allow people to go across it because of health reasons or safety reasons, but apparently there's no structural damage to the bridge. It's just like a wobbling bridge, which is kind of crazy. Like the wind is just, I don't know, but it blew my mind. And then at the bottom, like they have those related articles, but they're not related whatsoever. It was another article that was speaking about the supermoon that's happening. So if you're listening to this podcast today or within the next 2 days until Friday, which is April 8th, then you are able to see the supermoon. It's like a spring supermoon that's supposed to be visible from I think Tuesday, which was yesterday, the 5th, until Friday, the 8th. So it's like this large moon that's supposed to be the last supermoon for the year. The next one's not going to be seen until April 2021. So if you have a chance to clear skies and stuff like that, check out that celestial event. I always love things like that. I think I spoke about before when I brought up some stuff about NASA, about the moon and stuff. So yeah, that's that. uh this episode, I wanted to kind of, since this music episode, I wanted to start by kind of stating this. I listed throughout like the time that I planned this episode all the songs that I was listening to while I was planning this episode. And I always listen to music when I'm planning episodes out or thinking about episodes, and I guess I've never actually just written down the songs that were playing in the background. And so I decided to do that this time just because it felt like it was fitting with the theme. So every now and then I'll just like I put like a star by the songs that I guess I was listening to or that came on at the time. It was all on shuffle after the first song that I picked. I picked the first song, and that was Nina Cried Power by Hozier featuring Mavis Staples. And that was my my only choice for a song. So I chose that song, and then after that, it was on shuffle. So for this beginning part, Nina Cried Power, Hosier. It's a great song. Artist is amazing. I mean, like, his voice is truly something different. There's this video that it's on YouTube. You can go and look for it. He does a live performance, and it's in a subway station of "Take Me to Church," and it is really just phenomenal. I mean, I value vocalists, like people that can sing, and you know, like, have you ever heard yourself sing? Like, you sing in the shower, you like sing to yourself or in the car or whatever, but have you actually like listened to yourself sing back and it was just terrible or whatever? But you can listen to this video of Hosier singing, and you can just hear like the range of vocals like that he has, like the control over it. And I think that, I mean, that is very, very difficult. And I think when you look back at those times when you're thinking like you're singing your ass off and you're like doing a damn good job, and then you listen back and you're like, oh shit, like I'm tone deaf. And uh then you realize how hard it is to like transition between those things. So I love music, and I love artists, and I love vocalists that have that talent, because that is truly a gift. And with music, it's something that's so amazing that, like, when you can create music from just the sound that comes out of your throat. I think that is I think that's truly amazing. So Nina Cried Power by Hosier. Check out the song. It's a really good song, and featuring Mavis Staples. Yeah, great song. I mean, like, if you listen to I guess a lot of his music, it's just really, really great. So uh the topics. I'm gonna just go into the topics now that are going to be added to the box. Topics include food, which is again one of my favorite things. Um, and food is so important, obviously, like in order for us to live. But like I can see like an interesting way of going with that, because there's so many people with different diets, and there are people even on like sun diet, like where they uh, just like taking the sun, breatharians, like just breathing and like taking energy from the sun. So that can be an interesting topic. So excited about that. Expectations is another topic, and that is something I think may actually already be in the box. Um, but expectations, again, it's speaking about expectations. We spoke about social obligations, and I think that's expectations maybe that we feel from outside of us to do these certain things that we feel necessary. But expectations are something so important as well, where it's like the expectations that are coming from within us. How much are we expecting from other people? How much are we expecting out of a situation? And what use are those expectations if they don't work out the way that we want them? And how much of a detriment are we at when we feel the negative effects of something not happening how we expected them to happen? So expectations, that's a big one. Life is a topic. I mean, shit, like I mean, at least it wasn't like the meaning of life, but life, like what is life? And I think even with that, there are so many different avenues, because there are different religions, different cultures, different people that have this idea of what life is. And I mean, each of us, obviously, I mean, I don't even know how many of us really think about what is life. I mean, I think about what is life all the time, but like, I think we all have different conceptions of life, and I think that that's something that makes it so unique. That's what makes life so unique. And I think that's going to be a big topic, which I feel may be very hard to make into a concise episode, but we'll figure it out. Another topic: success and failure. And I think that's something that's so big, because I mean, like, as we go through life, we're going to have many things that we perceive as being successes and things that we perceive as being failures. And I think a lot of times we think something is a failure, and maybe it didn't work out, but does that mean you actually failed? Because I've seen quotes, like, where it's like you can't actually fail if you don't try, or you're not failing, or you're you're not failing if you try. That's what it is. So you're not failing if you try. And I think that's something that's so important, because there are so many people that don't even give themselves the chance to explore an avenue of interest or go towards something that they're passionate about, because they fear this failure. And at the end of the day, it's like you're not failing if you're moving towards something that you feel passionate about. And I think that that's something that's so important. So success and failure, that is a big topic. And yeah, so that's going to be going into the box. So box is right here. Gonna shake it up. Um, the song "If You Let Me," acoustic version by Sinead Harnett. That's a newer song I think that I added. And the music that's being shuffled is on my thumbs up playlist. So I mentioned a previous episode that I don't like or dislike things. So um, I guess that wasn't completely true, but I have Google Play Music, and if you put a thumbs up on one of the songs, then it kind of automatically adds it to a thumbs up playlist. So it like adds it to your library. Whereas like if you want to actually add music to your library, you have to go like to the drop menu and then click add to library. So instead of doing all of that, I just click the thumbs up and then it all just goes to my thumbs up playlist. So I have a lot more music in my thumbs up playlist than in my actual add it to library music. But if I really, really, really like a song, then it goes to my library. Like I have to add it to my thumbs up and my library. But see here and there, this is my thumbs up playlist that's being shuffled. So first song, Nina Cried Power, and then after that, it's all shuffled from there, and you'll hear how eclectic my music is because people don't believe me when I say I listen to all types of music. But anyway, If You Let Me, acoustic version by Sinead Harnett, and yeah, I guess I thought that song was okay because I put okay dot dot dot. Anyway, so topic for next week is going to be. This is always very unnerving. Damn, I just put this one back in the box. Taking risks. Taking risks. Okay, it's something so important. I think that that's also something that goes into that idea of success and failure. But taking risks is that preface to whether you succeed or fail or perceive one of the others. But it's taking that risk of doing something that maybe you feel may not pan out how you want to, but you have more passion about it, so you're going to take that risk, or maybe you succumb to the fears that taking that risk entails. So I'm going to take down music from the wall because that's what we're talking about today, and put up taking risks, and that is going to be next week's topic. And if any of you have any thoughts or anything like that from these topics that get drawn from the box, feel free to email them to me, everything.somepodcast, or reach out to any of the social media pages that I will link at the end of this. So, music today. Today we're going to be talking about music, and again, I love music. Music is always on. I swear my roommates think I hate them because I have my headphones on like 90% of the time, and usually it's at a low enough volume to where like if I'm being spoken to, then like I'll be listening. But a lot of times it's just like, I just love having music with me, and it's I don't know. There are even times when like I have headphones on, and I kind of feel as though the music is a theme song to my life, and like I kind of have like theme music to things that I'm doing, and I don't know, that kind of just makes it more fun. But music is something that like I think has always been with me because I've always brought it with me through kind of all of my emotional experiences, whether it's happy or sad or excited or ready to go out and hang out with people, or just ready to chill and be by myself, and it just accompanies so many places. And I think it also speaks to us in so many ways where the lyrics to a song can be so meaningful. There are these like music theory classes that you take songs and you're breaking it down, and you kind of like remove the beats and the sounds that kind of go along with it, and kind of break it down to just the lyrics and the words. And a lot of times you'll find that these songs that aren't just not the ones that are just like meant to sell records or just like meant to just sell because they're popular, but the ones that are truly meaningful to artists. And I think that if you look at a lot of artists like unreleased music and like the ones that they're creating that maybe don't make it to the album or something, those are ones that are filled with so much more emotion, filled with so much more passion and conviction. And I think that's something that music does. It's like it not only allows you to express these emotions and feelings that you have, but it also allows other people to receive them in a certain way and resonate with them in a certain way. And one big thing that I love is covers to music. And at the end of this, I'm going to kind of just list some of the cover songs. So I guess for the past few months, I've been listening to a lot of covers, and I go through, I guess, different phases of music where it's like I'll listen to a majority of covers and then I'll go back to like other music that I listen to. But just to discover new music, I've been discovering new covers. And I love cover music because I think it gets at that aspect of music where it touches people in a different way. Like the artists themselves may have created the words and and create the emotion behind the song, but the way that people receive it and change it up to incorporate themselves within it and the sound of their words, it's like the same words, but it's coming from a different place. And I think that's something that's so amazing about music and why it's like such an art because it can be interpreted in so many different ways and can resonate with people in so many different ways. So covers are a great way of like realizing like the individuality that the artist is putting into the music and also just like the emotion that's being conveyed from how that artist perceives like these words to be or this song to be, and it can be so emotional. There are times where I sometimes find the cover or the acoustic version to a song a lot better than the actual original song, and not to say like the original song is bad in any kind of way. It's just more or less like the way that it comes across. Maybe it resonates more with how I feel when I listen to the song. But anyway, music is very interesting, and I like was thinking about music. I was just like, what is music? And I try to define it myself, like just like music, like it's so much part, like it's so part of our lives, like birds singing. I mean, that's like we say they're singing, and I mean, songs are music. The sounds of the ocean, the sounds of the wind. I mean, we could say that nature is musical, but like there's also this music that we know so well that we download or that we sing or that we create, and it's something that's really amazing. So I couldn't truly define it because I felt that was so encompassing of just so many things. So I went to Google, obviously. Google, Google. I feel like they made that word to make you sound like an idiot. I have a Google Play um, music thing, and then when I say like okay Google or something, it'll start speaking. I forgot to turn it off, but anyway, I went to Google to define music and figure out what it is, and I think this definition is really amazing because it kind of goes into the very essence of music that I wanted to talk about. So, music, vocal or instrumental sounds, or both, combined in such a way as to produce beauty of form, harmony, and expression of emotion. And I think those are the three aspects that I think is so music: beauty of form, harmony, and expression of emotion. And I guess the beauty of form is like I think that's more speaking of like maybe the structure and the syncope that happens with music and rhythm that may happen with music, but uh, I don't know. I think beauty is something that's so much more encompassing, and what is the form of beauty, and I think that that's where music has the opportunity to be so diverse in that way of being able to speak to different people in a different way because it's beauty in different forms. It's beauty in the way that is beauty in the eye of the beholder, and the person that's creating it obviously finds it to be beautiful, and the person that's receiving it meaningfully also finds it to be beautiful. And I think that that's the true essence of music. Doobie Ashtray, Devin the Dude was another song that came on. So I guess I'll just if you just randomly hear me naming a song, that's just a song that was on, and I've just like starred them along this. So yeah, music it's so encompassing of all these different things, and I think that that's what resonates with us so much as we incorporate in our lives, as we incorporate into like everything that we do. And I think that's something so crazy too, because like I was speaking in last episode, I tried to think about a world without music, and I mean, as I'm even like hearing the wind chimes in my neighbor's yard, it's like that is a melody, And it's like, and what would a world without music be, Because there's so many things that we define as music. So would it just be a silent world? Like music is literally it's ingrained within like who we are and how we move. You Are More by I Am Nobody is another good song. And I Am Nobody I am is all one word. I am nobody. Nobodi. I am nobody. And interesting artist, different type of vibe. So yeah. I'm not sure if this is even like good. I thought this would be a good idea, but I feel like I'm just interrupting myself every time I mention a song. But anyway, so yeah, music is so ingrained within like who we are, and I kind of looked up just like how long I took a music theory class actually, and just like went through just all these different genres of music throughout the centuries, like just over the past hundreds of years, and yeah, I kind of just like wanted to like go back even further and see like when was the earliest sound like identification of music was discovered, and apparently the Paleolithic era. And I think that's just crazy. I put fucking dinosaurs, guys. It's the fucking dinosaurs, but no, there were no dinosaurs around during that time. That was the Mesozoic era, and that was about 250 million to 60 million years ago. Whereas the Paleolithic era was only 2.5 million years ago, and so yeah, there were no dinosaurs, but there was this thing called this Glyptodon. That's Glyptodon, Glyptodon, and apparently these are like the ancestors of possums. And possums they're not that big, but these motherfuckers, these were the size of Volkswagen Beetles. Like these were huge, like possum looking things, like except more dinosauric looking, and they apparently went extinct very fast because humans during that time hunted them. But anyway, during that time, they found like an artifact of a flute-like instrument uncovered of as an artifact in that time, which gave them some kind of idea that like that's where kind of like people were using music even like during that time when we were still hunting animals and didn't have like I guess understanding of mathematics and things like that, which I think also just speaks so much to like how ingrained it is within us, where it's like even the idea of a certain type of knowledge or understanding of life or the way that we move isn't necessary for us to produce this music. And I don't know, it's just so ingrained in the way that we are and the way that we move. And of course that I mean that means that of course it influences us some part kind of way, like physiologically. And there have been so many studies that have looked at how music impacts the brain, and it literally impacts like all parts of the brain. So there are a few songs that actually played during this time. Um, "Say My Name" by Destiny's Child, always a classic. And these are so random because of the shuffle. But "Say My Name" Destiny's Child, "Clap Your Hands" Wilk and Misky. I always say that wrong. I always say like milk and whiskey, but I think it's supposed to be switched up like that. So "Clap Your Hands" Wilk and Misky. "Stand By Me" Tracy Chapman cover. It's a cover by Tracy Chapman, also very good. I mean, we all know "Stand By Me" the song. Really great cover, Tracy Chapman, great artist. And "Move It to the Beat" by Stoto. And those were three songs that were played, or a few songs that were played. So yeah, music interacts everywhere in the brain, and you know what's more fascinating than any of this is the fact that I'm able to keep on topic because I'll throw myself off into a different topic and somehow will not find my way back to it. And I think this is a great training to just like train my mind to get back on topic. But anyway, it's everywhere in the brain. We have so many parts of our brain that interact with the music that we have. There are individuals with Alzheimer's and dementia, like these memory loss disorders that will have increased memory or will be able to even play instruments that they've they forgot the names of their loved ones but can play an instrument that they've been playing since they were a child, or won't remember big parts of their life, but if they hear a song, then it ties them back to a memory that they previously had forgotten. It enhances so many functions within our brain, like language acquisition, improves communication, visualization skills. Like there are times when I'm just like listening to music and I just like visualize different things, like whether it's just random patterns or just like just random imagery. But like even meditative music guidancing, like where you have the sound of like the ocean, the breeze, and they're like, take a deep breath in and exhale out, and listen to the sounds of the wave as you are guided through your mind and peace. And I mean, it's music is so great for things like like visualization, like I said, interacting with memory, like I was saying with Alzheimer's and dementia. It's so critical, and I think that's something really special about music, that there's that it's so part of us in this ways. There's this video that I found online of this woman that was getting brain surgery. Her head was open, and they were like poking at her brain and cutting pieces out. She had a brain tumor, and they told her to play the violin as she was getting the brain surgery so that she can keep her fine motor movement. And I mean, to do anything while your brain is being cut, I think that that's really amazing. But also just like the amount of skill and the importance of that music in that situation, I think it's unfounded, because of the fact that doctors are telling you that although it can be very stressful for you during this time to do something like play music while you're having brain surgery, to do anything like very cognitively oriented while you're having brain surgery can be very, I mean, I imagine it can be very like detrimental to like how it's going about or like what's going on. But the doctor specifically wanted her to do this so she can keep her fine motor movement, keep her ability to play the violin, but also to give them indication as to if they're touching a part of the brain that maybe isn't supposed to be touched, or interfering with something that may cause a detriment in that. But I mean, for doctors to want you to do that, and for that to be something that can be so helpful in just keeping neurons active within your brain, it's so crazy. I mean, I think that's amazing. But it influences our emotions, like the way that we feel things. It increases the production of new neurons. Allows us to produce new neurons and improve our memory. And again, with that brain surgery, I think that that's something that's so amazing, where they say, if you even if you listen to like Mozart as a baby, or like classical music as an infant, they say like it helps with neurological development. And I mean, there's been a lot of research done, and I think that again, it's so amazing just how music is so ingrained within that. Helps to maintain just like balance in our body, our sleep, our appetite, our heart rate. Like all these things are so important. Have you ever like been, I guess, just really stressed out, maybe just have a lot of panic, and like you feel like your blood is pumping, and you just have to put on your favorite music, and you zone into your music and you start calming down. I mentioned before about my friends being afraid of like police officers every time they drove by them, and the thing that I would do is to just sing, like the song that's playing on the radio, and just sing that, and it would, like, the focus on that music would ease my nerves, ease the anxiety. And I think that that's something also so important to like realize when we recognize that music does these things for us, because then we can go to music in those times that we're feeling down, when we're feeling anxious, when we're feeling overstressed, and find out, like, that this is a way that we can calm down, that we can get back to a balance within ourselves. Because I mean, feeling disoriented and just scattered is, it's not really the best feeling. And when we can find these tools that we love, that can create some kind of peace within us, I think that that's something that we have to recognize, and I think that's something so important to recognize. And I'm so thankful that music is a thing, because I mean, it's really helped me so much with so many avenues in my life, and I continue to use it to think, to live, and it's really amazing. So um it also helps with coordination and rhythm. Like individuals with Parkinson's disease, like music has been found to help them, like with shaking. Like if you have Parkinson's disease, you like there's a lot of shaking. Like you can't really like move too much. There's a lot of muscular issues that are causing your body to shake in these like very erratic ways. And they found that music has been an aid in helping individuals with Parkinson's not only to just like stand up and down, because a lot of times it can be difficult just with your shaking so much that just standing up and down can be very difficult. So music has not only helped individuals to stand up and down, but it's also been shown to help individuals to even walk with Parkinson's disease. So uh, I mean, it's just so crazy. And one of the last parts of this that's really interesting, and maybe I have this, but it can be addictive, like music addiction. And it's addictive because there's this part of our brain called the nucleus accumbens, and apparently that's the part of our brain that focuses on like addictions and things like that. So like if you do certain substances, like that part of your brain is activated, and it causes like, I mean, not only that because you also, let's say you take opiates, you start building opiate receptors, and you have to take more opiates in order to fill those receptors, and that's what causes tolerance. But tolerance is a different part than what this is, which is addiction, and it's this part of your brain that's essentially telling your body and your mind that you want this more. And music influences that part of the brain. Like it, that part of the brain is activated when we listen to music, and again, like it can make music so addictive. And I think that it's probably one addiction that I don't feel bad about having. And I don't think any of us should feel bad about having, just like loving music so much that it's like it's part of our life and ingrained in our life, and it moves us towards maybe wanting to create it and do it for ourselves. I guess I've never thought about like a negative aspect of loving music so much. I guess to the point where maybe like you're just always listening to music and you don't give any attention to like anything else. I guess that'd be a problem, but I think it's really crazy. But the point of all of it is, music is so part of our lives, and it moves us not only in these ways of just like emotional, these ways of being able to process certain things, but also just like physiologically and mentally. Like it's just part of our lives and so ingrained in our lives, and I think that's something so amazing. So a few songs that we're playing: Cough Syrup, Young the Giant; Sunny, Hippie Sabotage; Sparks, Coldplay. And yeah, again, like you probably can hear how eclectic the music style is. It's very random, and there are a few times like I wanted to skip some of these songs because at at some point all these songs that I'm naming I liked at some point, and I mean I still like, but I guess it's mood dependent. But for the sake of this podcast, I wanted to not skip any of songs just because I feel like that was being untrue to just the randomness of my music. And I mean, music shouldn't be. You should be ashamed of no music that you listen to. Um, if you love it, if you resonate with it, if you feel it, then go with it. And even if it's for a moment, like I always like to ask people like what their favorite song is, or like their favorite artist is, but like today, like not like of all time, because I mean I couldn't even answer that question. It's very difficult. Like I've never had like a favorite artist or a favorite song per se for a long amount of time. Like I've had artists that I'll listen to for, it's like, oh, like for the past like few weeks I've been listening to like this artist and artist related. But there've never been times when I've like just been like, yeah, like this is like my favorite artist, I'm gonna always listen to it. Hozier is probably an artist that like no matter what I'm always gonna listen to at some point. But I mean, but yeah, no, I guess there are a lot of songs that I'd listen to at. Anyway, the point is that these are all random. I was gonna skip some, but I didn't. uh, Pain, 3 Days Grace is next song. So that was the last song that I listed because I decided to go to Google and I searched. What I searched was music that influenced the world, because I was like, like music impacts us in so many ways, and I feel like it influences us on a mass scale, and I think that there are so many ways that like we find that music impacts us in a certain way. Fucking Google populated my search, or like came up with the search results for 10 influential songs that changed the fucking world. I mean, they didn't say fucking, but it said that changed the world. And I thought that was like a reach. I was like, change the world? I was like, come on. Like, I'm pretty sure Politics and More did that, but it's, no, but, this was kind of, it blew my mind. So I went to this article and I was like, okay, I guess this is what I'll do on this like part of the podcast episode. And I went through this 10 songs. I listened to them because there were only like 5 out of the 10 songs that I had actually heard before. And I mean, some of them are truly amazing. Like I mean, changing the world, I think that might be a reach, but I think it definitely influenced on a mass scale enough to where people were on board, and maybe it impacted the world in that way, where it's like so many people were influenced by it, so many people were pulled by it, or felt connected to it in some kind of way that they were able to, make changes within their environment or their country, or in some kind of way, or make even just like the awareness of things. So these 10 influential songs I listened to, and as I listened to them, I obviously read about like how they influenced the world in this article. So The first song was Sam Cooke, "A Change Is Gonna Come," and this song was in 1964, and essentially it speaks about segregation and like it's very powerful. This was a song that I added to my music list because it was a song that I hadn't heard before, and I think that I may have even heard like part of the song before, maybe like in a movie or something like that. But it's a very good song. And in 1964, this is around the time civil rights activists were like this was a very like tumultuous time in American history, and I think that this song is definitely something that speaks so passionately about this issue of segregation that was yeah, I mean, very good song. The other song is The Beatles, by the Beatles, "I Want to Hold Your Hand," 1964. And this song was, they said, was the kickstart of the 60s music revolution, which is I guess just kind of interesting. But again, like 1964, there were civil rights protests going on. I think we were in the middle of starting like conflict with the like Vietnam. Like that's not when the Vietnam conflict happened, but it was things were leading up to that, and there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of people that want peace over war, a lot of people that want a change in the way that we are moving as people, and apparently, I guess the Beatles, "I Want to Hold Your Hand" is the kickstart of that kind of that musical revolution of the 60s and 70s. Band Aid, this next song, "Do They Know It's Christmas?" And this is a song I actually hadn't heard before. This song was written or produced in 1984, and essentially it was made to aid Ethiopian famine. And I mean, like the song is a Christmas song, and I was kind of reluctant to listen to it because I mean, I worked in a department store. I worked at Sears, and I worked at a grocery store before, and every time around Christmas time, like not even around Christmas time, like mid-November, the fucking Christmas music would start, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and it's not like I don't want to sound like cynical, like I hate Christmas. Like Christmas is great, but like, fuck, like it's the middle of no, we haven't even gotten through Thanksgiving yet, and like they're fucking playing Christmas music, and it's gonna keep going until like January 10th. So I so I was reluctant to listen to the song, but it's actually like it's not what you think of when you think of a Christmas song. This They're speaking about things like, do they know it's Christmas? They're speaking about individuals that are like in these poverty stricken areas, in these like famine stricken areas, and like we are enjoying Christmas, we're enjoying gifts, we're enjoying like the comforts that go along with that. But do they even know it's Christmas? Do they get to celebrate that? Do they get to have those things? And I think, and that's what the song is speaking about, and it's such a great song. The other song, "Edwin Starr War," this is a song that many of us know. If you've watched Forrest Gump, I believe that they put that in there, but this is a commonly used song that's in a lot of movies. But what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Yeah, that's it. And basically, it was to protest the Vietnam War or pre-Vietnam conflict because I mean, there's just shit going on. Like we had just gotten out of two wars and a fucking Cold War, and oh wait, Cold War is like after this. But anyway, we were just like going through a lot of shit, and a lot of people didn't want to, and we felt like we had no need in Vietnam, and that's what there was a lot of protests against that. So the next song, Billie Holiday, "Strange Fruit." Oh my gosh, this song is pretty crazy, and so deep. This song was written in 1939, and it's protesting the brutality and racism of lynching. I mean, I don't really. I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory about how lynching is racist and brutal. But I mean, like that's essentially what it was protesting, and it's a very like, oh my gosh, it's such a dark song, but it's also like so beautifully sung. Um, And Kanye West apparently did a sample of this song in his Yeezus album. So I haven't actually listened to that specific song that may have sampled this, but it was something that I meant to do. But that was a really great song. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. I mean, it's very intense. Next song, John Lennon, "Imagine." 1971. This was Lennon's wish for peace and harmony in the world, and I think many of us know this song. It's a beautiful song, and it's so idealistic of the many things that we want, the many things that many of us feel, and of course, we're still kind of fighting for that image of peace and harmony. The next song, Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, featuring Mary Lambert, that was in 2012, and that song is "Same Love," and that's speaking about gay rights, and that's also another song, 2012. There were so many LGBT activists around this time that were moving towards just even, I think, I'm not even sure if same-sex marriage was legal at this time in 2012, but just so many things that were going on, and this was a song that was advocating for gay rights. And yeah, the next song, U2, Sunday, Bloody Sunday. This was in 1983, and this was essentially a song to condemn the historic bloodshed in Ireland. That's what they believed that this song was supposed to be speaking about, but Bono said that it's more about interpersonal struggle. So yeah, very, very interesting. And I think that's so interesting too, just like how sometimes we can see something as being, oh, like this is what the song is about, like this is what this is supposed to be conveying, when the artists themselves or even the way that people are receiving it is different. It's a different message. The other song is Sex Pistols. I mean, well, the artist is Sex Pistols, and the song is "God Save the Queen," and this is rebelling against against British politics. The song was in 1977. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in Britain, England at the time, but I guess they weren't very happy about it because they were rebelling against British politics during that. And the last song is Public Enemy, Fight the Power. Fight the Power, and that's 1989, and it was meant to empower Black community and getting listeners to participate in politics. So essentially, like, shit's going down, and that we need to fight the power, essentially. So those were 10 songs that were 10 influential songs that changed the world. Now, again, I think changing the world is pretty big, but I can definitely see that they're ones that are very meaningful for the times that they're written, and they're songs that I think they were written not to sell records. They were written not to just like be a song. I think they were meant to actually do something, and I think that's why they're so influential, is because despite the fact that this artist may have been doing something where they weren't fully supported by their label, or they weren't really supported by, like what they felt society would support them as, they did this anyway because they felt as though this was something that needed to be spoken about. This was something that needed to be advocated. And I love that music is an amazing way to not only bring across like emotions, but also just messages that people want to share with the world and share with other humans, and I think that that's something so amazing. And, just the perspective that each song has, like it's not always going to be the same perspective for every person. And, but yeah, it's just about like, I think it's just about like the bigger message and like what it's bringing for you. And these songs were definitely ones that sent a message. And yeah, they're good ones. If you haven't listened to them, you can always go 10 influential songs that changed the world on Google, and you can get a little bit more history than what I gave you on the songs and why they feel they changed the world. But anyway, those 10 songs were playing, listen to them. And again, like the point of all that is, it's like our society influences like the way that music is being produced. It influences like what we're saying in it, the events that are going on in our lives. Like music is so encompassing of all aspects of our lives, the things that we see, the things that we feel, the things that we're dreaming of. And I think that that's something that makes it so important, I guess. And I don't like always like to stress like importance of things, but I find music to be important for me because it does all these things for me. It helps me to, I guess, live and move and kind of think about things that maybe I don't even get to feel. Like there are songs that I feel deep emotion through, yet I've never actually experienced that. And that's also something. It's like we get to share these experiences through these times that we listen to music or that we create music. A few more songs that played after this. Drake, Marvin's Room actually played right after Public Enemy, Fight the Power. So that was the next one that was on. Then Basecamp, ESC. That was, I put a little squiggly mark by that, so I guess I really like that song. And Childish Gambino, Feels Like Summer. and The Paper Kites Bloom were songs that played after I did that 10 influential songs list. So yeah, we have music. I love music. It's a great thing. I'm going to close it out there and yeah, end it there. But as I said before, I was gonna list some of the covers that I personally like, because covers, again, like they are this way that we can listen to something and reinterpret a song into the way that conveys who we are, and also conveys the way that the words meant to us. And I love covers for that reason, and also just like different artist styles. It's always so creative seeing like the same song in a different rendition, and that's something I'm personally working on as I try to create music, is figuring out what my style is, what my sound is, because I don't want to necessarily be like everyone else, even though I aspire towards certain artists, or I look up to certain artists. I also want to value myself, and I think that's something that's true, that's within true artistry, is the individuality that you can bring. I don't know if any of you ever watched American Idol, but there, or like any of these singing things, but a lot of times the judges will love the song, but they'll say, I don't hear you in it. I don't feel the words coming from you. And I think that's something so important. And if you've seen these shows, or you've seen those performances, you can kind of get the idea, because it's like it's kind of like the person is just saying words, or the person is trying to sound just like the original, and there's none of them. There's none of that artistic creativity that's coming within it. Even though they like sound really great, it's like music is meant to convey this feeling. It's meant to like bring about this feeling, especially with words that are deeper. So like feel those words as you sing them. And I think that that's something that's really amazing when people do covers, because they're putting their own style and they're adding their own thing to it. So the songs that I chose, and I have like so many different cover songs that I could have listed, but these are just the ones that fit on a note card. So Cotton Eye Joe by the Sweeplings, and I didn't write down who the original of Cotton Eye Joe is, but Cotton Eye Joe, many people know that song. Yellow, covered by Tyler Ward, original song by Coldplay. Love You Like a Love Song by Noah Guthrie, and that originally song is sung by Selena Gomez. If You Could Only See, Corey Andrews featuring Jake Coco, originally sung by Tonic. Living on a Prayer, sung by Matt Johnson. That's the acoustic mix, and that's originally sung by Bon Jovi. Dream On, Boyce Avenue, that's originally sung by Aerosmith. Boyce Avenue also has a great cover of Blackbird, which was originally sung by the Beatles. I Will Survive, Matt Johnson covered acoustic version, and that's originally by Gloria Gaynor. Wicked Game by Philip Phillips, that is originally by Chris Isaacs. Philip Phillips also has a song called Miles, which is really great, and it's an acoustic version of that. And the last cover song, is Can't Get You Out of My Head, covered by Jack Lukeman, and that's originally sung by Kylie Minogue. Anyway, that's all I have there. Hope you all enjoyed this. Share some of your music with me. I love listening to new music and finding new music to add to my music collection. I have like thousands of songs, so always love hearing new songs. So send those in, everything.sunpodcast, or new topic ideas, everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. You can go to the Facebook group and join that, Everything Under the Sun with Ty. You can go to Instagram, everything.sunpodcast, or you can follow on Twitter at everysunpodcast. So that's going to be all. I love you all, and I will see you.